is in the bay.
Huh. Oxygen-rich atmosphere, giant testicle monsters. We'll be fine. Let's party! Whew! 30 seconds until the game starts, Rick! I'm getting my things ready, Morty.
As ever. Streaming. Yes. Time to test the waters. Running in. Not yet. Ah, yes. Go with the flow. A fine solution. Standing water. The moon pulls me. No! I'll sweep you away. Wave breaks. Oh, running water. I go. Yes. Attack. Running water. I'm under attack. Pour it on.
Oh, first blood. Oh, your bottom tower's under attack.
Stand so wave of mutilation. The wave breaks. Yes. As ever. The renewal gate.
That
A
should help.
fine solution. The moon pulls me. I know. I. A fine solution. After them. Boiling rage. That settles. Pour it on. As ever. Raging waters. Go the flow. I think not. Yes.
Oh, you want some of this?
I'll
Hey?
sweep you away. Waters rising.
Whoa, initiating killing spree mode.
Raging waters. Yes. Running in. Soon pay. Ah, yes. Standing water.
Ooh, your middle tower's under attack. Radiant just fortified their structures! You know what I'm talking about?
After
Oh man, this guy's dominating! Oh jeez, your middle tower's under attack!
ah, yes. Streaming.
Ah, the enemy's bottom tower. Gone. We did it.
Running in.
Denied.
Rising tide. Dangerous waters. A king flow.
Morty, watch out! It's the killing spree! Mega kill. He just mega killed.
I'm not ready.
Whoa! He just killed Radiant's courier!
The moon pulls me. As ever. A fine solution.
That should help.
Pour it on.
wicked sick stuff, Rick, because he just wicked sick it.
That's right.
I am Frost Vigo. Standing.
Morty, you're not gonna like this. The top tower's under attack.
Oh, sheesh.
What a mess.
That's fine. Yes. Pour it on.
Oh boy, killing spree.
I know. The wave breaks. Running water. As ever. I got it. Yes. Ah, yes. Running in, my waters rise. Waters still run. The movement pulls me. Running in.
Oh, jeez, your top tower's under attack.
Killing spree. Whoa!
Boiling rage.
Your top tower's under attack.
Pour it on.
Oh, Rick, he's dominating now. He's dominating.
Double kill.
It's time for your cremation.
Your top tower's under attack. Ha ha ha.
You gotta get serious. Top tower's under attack.
Oh, top tower's falling.
Oh man, what? Get up on out of here, cause Radiant just fortified your structure.
Double damage.
Radiant's courier got
Morty,
killed. You know what?
You better hold on to your hat
Carrying-
because now it's a mega kill. That's 5, baby. 5. There's no accident anymore. This isn't an accident now.
Oh, jeez, it's a killing spree.
Ownage. Morty, we'll be fine. Let's party.
It's pretty tight.
Not yet.
Morty, middle tower. Might want to look at it.
Middle tower's under attack.
You know, Morty, it still kind of feels like they don't even care.
Your bottom tower's under Come on, get
Ooh, Dyer, you
get
gotta
with
fortify
it.
them, their structures. Good work.
Water's rising.
Oh, come on, the middle tower's under attack.
The moon pulls me.
Look, the middle tower's under attack. Oh, man.
After them.
Oh, middle tower's under attack. Oh boy, your middle tower just really took a big crap.
Standing
Jeez.
water.
Oh, this isn't good.
Go with the flow. I go. Standing water. Find solution.
Whoa, killing spree. Oh!
The flow. I flow. Ah, yes. I'm under attack.
Oh yeah, your bottom tower's under attack.
Oh, jeez, he's dominating. Radiant's courier just got killed. You know, Rick, I gotta tell you, my bottom tower is looking pretty good.
40, bottom tower under attack.
Oh!
The moon pulls
You know,
me.
Rick, I gotta tell you, my bottom tower is looking pretty good.
40, bottom tower under attack. Ooh, oh, not good. Oh yeah, your bottom tower's under attack. Hey Morty, guess what's not there?
The bottom tower.
This normally never happens, Morty, and I know you won't believe it, but I think I made a mistake. Oh, not so fast, Morty, because he just mega killed. It's a mega kill now.
Waters.
Can go.
Running in.
Sniper. Cute.
Pour it on.
What are you buying?
As ever. A high watermark.
Oh man, looks like Tyler got the chance a little bit before everybody else could.
Go.
bodies. Monster kill. Double kill. Oh man.
Dangerous waters. Running in. A fine solution.
Morty, killing spree.
The moon pulls me. Standing water. Yes. Lincoln Sphere. Water still run. The wave breaks. Swirl. Splish splash.
Hello? Can anyone hear me? It's a killing spree over here!
I go. Running water.
Looks like dire structures are fortified.
Go the flow.
What are you buying?
Oh, your top tower's under attack.
Your top tower's under attack! Oh my god! Ford around! He's now dominating! He's dominating! Top tower's getting hit!
Mega kill. Wubba lubba dub dub. Now your top tower's under attack. Oh, your top tower's obliterated. Way to go.
You gotta get serious! Top tower's under attack!
Go the flow.
This will come in handy.
Wave of mutilation. I go. Pour it on. Yes. Streaming. water. Ah, yes. A fine solution. I blow.
Morty, you're not gonna like this. The top tower's under attack.
Oh, sheesh!
I'm in.
Oh boy, your top tower's under attack.
You know, Morty, it sometimes feels like they don't even care.
Standing water. The wave breaks. Streaming. That's settled. Yes. Misfortune. Standing water. Running in. Ah, yes.
Your middle tower's under attack.
Running water.
force field leads me to believe that Dyer just fortified their structure.
Your bottom tower's under attack!
Your top tower's under attack.
Listen. My waters rise. As ever. Running water. Man down. Standing water. Yes.
Wicked sick. Slaughtered by the dire.
Deep water still run.
Whoa! They just killed Radiant's courier. Whoa, whoa, whoa! They took out the enemy's top tower. And you might as well save that energy because Radiant just fortified their structures. Ooh, they took out the enemy's middle tower. And you might as well save that energy because Radiant just fortified their structures. Attack. Ready, Rick? We're only gonna get through this one. 1, 2, 3.
Because they got a
Holy
triple
shit.
kill.
Oh, jeez, Rick. The top tower's getting hit.
Enemy's middle barracks just got wrecked, baby! Well, that's what I call teamwork. Morty and I were like, top tower's under attack.
Oh, sheesh. Radiant just fortified their structures. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, the enemy's middle tower's gone. Turn to the right. Ooh, they took out the enemy's middle tower.
Whoa.
He's super godlike, or beyond godlike, I meant.
Invisibility.
Morty, quit acting like a detective.
Your turn to ban.
5 seconds, Morty. It'll be fine.
Oh man, Rick, there's only 10 seconds left to pick a hero. You better pick your hero. 5 seconds. Hello, it's your turn to pick.
Uh, 10 seconds to pick your hero, you moron. Yeah, 5 seconds left now.
I suffer the indignities of the mortal plane only so long as I must.
It's in the bag.
What are we here for again?
Trying to help these guys win a game.
Win the game? Right, yeah, okay.
Never a false step. The path of this conflict was decided long ago.
30 seconds till Jit goes ham in the dollar store, Morty.
Novel.
All right, now it's on, baby.
Oh, geez.
Everything is in place. Only one task remains. Call it a premonition. I walk the hidden path. This is a strange land, to be sure. It was always so. With purpose. They test my patience. Manual relocation. Assigned. I am under attack. It seems promised. I approach true valor devoidful. In preparation. I choose the shadow that bathes me? Do you think I've not seen this? No mortal hand. I do not hesitate. The void path proceeds. Yes, then
Blood has been spilled, Morty. For the first time in this game.
Last words.
the natural course. You cannot touch the void. I know the way. I must be attentive. They test my patience. What chance have you? I walk the mortal way. Moving without traveling. Each step taken. Could it be otherwise? I walk the hidden path. The natural course. Manual location. I am under attack. One moment. It seems promised.
Oh, middle tower's under attack.
Soon my powers may be in preparation. Do I choose this path, or does it choose me?
Come on, the middle tower's under attack.
Trip. Nothing comes. Moving without traveling. As I guard the temple, never forgotten. I know the way. It was always so. I am all at once. It seems promised. Call it a premonition. Ether remnant. Do you think I've not seen this? A voidful procession. When the time is right. Like breathing, they test my patience. Each step taken. Other options are mere illusion. Patience. Novel. I have no one. I walk the mortal way. I do not hesitate. Could it be otherwise? Home for me. No longer hidden. I feel more like I know the way. Middle is missing. Where to next? The face of the void. proceeds. The balance shifts.
I'll take that as tribute.
With purpose. I must be attentive. Novel. Do I choose this path, or does it wait? I am under attack. It was always so. To my temple.
Be gone.
Before there was something, there was nothing. The void path proceeds. As my patience very full resonance. I to be sure. Each step taken.
Oh, jeez, your middle
Walk
tower's
the
under
hidden
attack.
path.
Come on, get with it.
Looks like dire structures are fortified.
Could
Oh,
it
jeez,
be
middle tower's
otherwise?
under attack.
I walk the mortal way.
Your top tower's under attack.
No
Ooh,
longer
oh, not good.
Call it a premonition. Manual relocation. The natural course. Each step taken. Do you think I'm nuts?
Money change.
Your middle tower's under attack.
Never a false step. It was always so. Only here. Other options are mere illusion. Moving without traveling. Null and void. In preparation.
Swing.
It seems promised.
Ooh, your middle tower's under attack.
Oh, man.
Go, killing spree. Oh, everyone bow down. Oh, she accident. It was an accident, I bet.
Voidful procession.
Killing
I know the way. I diminish me. Your movements are curious indeed. No longer hidden. Novel. Manual relocation. I walk the mortal way. Moving without traveling. The natural course. In preparation.
Oh, geez, your top tower's under attack.
The void path proceeds. I see a lot of message in the future. Call it test my patience. Each step taken, it seems promised. It was always so. The journey ahead.
Small minds are quickly broken.
Morty, middle tower. I'm gonna look at it.
Oh, middle tower's under attack.
Oh, middle tower's under attack. You know, Morty, it sometimes feels like they don't even care.
I must be
Oh man, your middle
attentive.
tower just got destroyed. Oh boy, somebody call trouble because he's here already. Tower's getting hit.
With purpose. I walk the hidden path. Do I choose this path, or does it choose me? Always watching.
Killing spree. There was a clipping issue. There was a hit detection issue.
With purpose. Void sentinel. Other options are mere illusion. Could it be otherwise? No. Do you think I've not seen this?
Oh, your top tower's under attack.
Firm denial. Never a false step. Judicious. No efforts.
You know, Rick, I gotta tell you, my bottom tower is looking pretty good.
Morty's bottom tower under attack.
The void path
Your
proceeds.
top tower's under attack.
Oh man, this guy's dominating.
Manual relocation. The natural course.
Oh boy, your top tower's under attack.
What a mess. Your top tower just took it right in the you-know-what.
Do you think I've not
Oh
seen
man, what?
this?
Get up on out of here, cause Radiant just fortified their structures.
What's wrong?
Morty,
Your
you
bottom
better hold on
tower's
to your
under
hat,
attack.
'cause now it's a mega kill. That's 5, baby. Stop it. There's no mistake anymore. This isn't an accident now.
Your bottom tower's under attack.
Wubba-lubba-dub-dub!
Step taken.
Killing spree high.
Oh, triple kill.
Must be something worse on the wing.
That force field leads me to believe that Dyer just fortified the bottom tower is Gonzo, baby.
That's evading your
Oh, he's dominating.
There's nothing out there but I do not hesitate.
You gotta get serious. Top tower's under attack.
I must be attentive. Call it a premonition. I should have come sooner. Could it be otherwise? There I create conflict. I walk the hidden path. Creation is messy. I walk the mortal way. All doors open. Moving without traveling. Never a false step. A proper means. Other options are mere illusion. None see the threat and loom in preparation. It seems promising.
My heart beats no more.
I give the gift of death.
I must endure the indignities of the mortal coil. With purpose. It was always so. I am overstepped. No longer hidden. I know the way. It was always so. Could it be otherwise? American force. The true danger.
Oh boy, killing spree.
must be
Killing spree, whoa!
I reject you. With purpose. The natural course. Boots of travel. Never a false step. Novel. An aspect of
Now, Rick, I gotta tell you, my bottom tower is looking pretty good.
quick step. A field of nothing.
Your bottom tower's under attack.
Only to me. I am under attack. The void.
Oh yeah, your bottom tower's under attack.
Oh, man. You know, Rick, I gotta tell you, my bottom tower is looking pretty good.
40, bottom tower under attack.
Oh!
I walk the mortal way. Moving without traveling.
Yeah, your top tower's under attack.
Voidful procession.
Oh, jeez, Rick,
the
the
hidden
top tower's
path.
getting hit. Come on, get with it.
Clothed in the void. A welcome respite. It seems promised.
Oh, your top tower's under attack. Oh, not good.
They test my patience.
Oh, jeez, your top tower's under attack. He's dominating now. He's dominating. Top tower's under attack.
Your top tower just got shattered.
I stay true to the course.
You know, the cops are shooting at him and tasing him, and he just keeps getting up.
Why choose
Yeah, why does he
this
keep
path?
getting up? Just lay
Or does
down.
it choose me?
Morty,
For
middle
nothing.
tower. You might want to look at it.
Oh,
I
the middle
do not
tower's under
hesitate.
attack.
My preferred path.
Your middle tower's under attack.
No longer hidden.
Oh, come on. The middle tower's under attack.
In preparation.
Your middle
I
tower's under
must
attack.
bring the full measure of my power into this realm.
Hooray! The enemy's
Can
bottom
anyone hear
tower
me?
destroyed.
It's a killing
Hooray!
spree over here.
When the time is right. Each step taken.
Whoa! Initiating killing spree mode.
Apart. Well.
your middle tower's under attack.
Your middle tower just bit the big one.
That was just horrible, Rick.
Other options are mere illusion.
Oh, not so fast, Morty, because he
Own
just
it!
mega
You say it really
killed. It's a
fast
mega
a bunch
kill
of
now.
times it starts to not make any sense. Own it!
Own it.
Own it!
Own it.
Own it!
Ooh, your middle tower's under attack. Oh, Dyer's warrior got killed. Are you kidding me? Sweet, Dyer, you gotta fortify this area.
I must admit to enjoying that. Ether spell. The void path proceeds. With purpose. I must be attentive.
Oh, your bottom tower's under attack.
Seems promising. As I guard the temple, I am under attack. A void for
Oh,
processing.
yeah, your bottom tower's under attack.
Novel.
Hey, you might want to kiss your bottom tower goodbye because it's gone.
Do you think I'm not
Oh, your bottom tower's under attack.
You know, Morty, it sometimes feels like they don't even care.
mortal?
Your bottom tower's under attack.
Could it be
Hey,
a
Morty, guess what's not there?
The bottom tower. Oh man, the bottom barracks were my favorite. Now they're not there anymore. Oh jeez, middle tower's under attack.
What a mess. Looks like dire structures are fortified. Oh, mega kill! Wubba lubba dub dub!
The enemy is more formidable than I thought. Do I choose this path, or does it choose me? There is no flight from me. In preparation. Where to next? The world to nothingness.
Morty's killing spree.
Never will you see my face.
This
It's
plan,
dominating.
but the work is not yet done. The power of the void breaks across the. I know the way. Each step taken, I create opportunity. It was always so. Call it a premonition. hidden. Manual relocation. Never a false step. Pulse. Other options are mere illusion. I do not hesitate. Time to issue.
Can anyone hear me? It's a killing spree over here!
Mega kill. Morty, you're not gonna like this. Top tower's under attack.
Your top tower's under attack!
Your top tower's under attack. Oh, top tower. Loved it. I love top barracks are under attack.
Well, you don't have any top barracks
Your top
anymore.
barracks?
Yeah, they're gone now.
Middle tower.
Great! Your middle tower! You can't use that anymore! Middle tower's under
Your
attack!
middle barracks just got wiped off the face of the map.
Whoever that was is getting up the most priority! Punk! Calm down! Calm down! Crap, the enemy has mega creeps!
You gotta fortify them there structures. Good work. Oh, middle tower's under attack.
Oh, jeez, middle tower's under attack!
Ooh.
Oh, man, your middle tower
not good.
destroyed!
I'm loving this. I get to be the mayor of my golden town. Welcome her, baby.
I was too focused on the conflict.
Oh boy, killing spree.
Oh man, what? Get up on out of here, cause Radiant just fortified their structures.
Oh boy, Dyer's middle tower is under attack.
Mine is truly a blessed life.
Radiant's courier got killed. You know how much stuff he was carrying?
Arachnia, we end this today.
Oh, Dyer's carrier just got killed. Dyer's courier, you missed the big one. There's a job opening, in case anyone's interested, for courier.
Howdy, partner. Sunset here, Cinder in there. We say things, episode 190, pair. Yeah. You were up 5 hours ago, and you were asking me to, if I wanted to do it early.
Untrue.
Please correct me.
I went to bed 5 hours earlier than I usually do, and I wrote to you like 3 hours ago. I was like, let me know if you want to record early. And then you wrote a smiley and never wrote again. So I showed up.
It wasn't a smiley, it was this face.
Yeah, it was a surprised face emoji.
Yeah.
And then you didn't write again. So I stayed in bed.
You know, people show up to watch us live sometimes.
It's your turn to
Why
ban,
change
That's
it?
dummy.
You know,
Yeah.
it is.
You could have written that then.
I figured the face said it all. You
There's
know?
5 seconds left now.
It was
The
very
truth
ambiguous.
Is, the
That's
truth
fine.
is, I did that emote while I was playing a game, and I just forgot you said anything until now. So.
It's like when we're casting together. It's par for the course.
Yep, that is correct. So thank you to our beautiful patrons from the In Bruges tier, including
Oh man, Rick, there's only 10 seconds left to
Pepperball,
pick a
Q
hero.
Foil, Q Ludes wishes all the Americans a
seconds,
happy
Morty. It'll
tax
be fine.
deadline reminder, not an ad. Stupid Copilot, new Dota DHL ad should be about them delivering the patch and failing to do so. D2 Bowie, Lab
you really
Dota,
gotta pick a hero.
Yatoro
You got
does it
10
again.
seconds
Cinderin,
left.
need more an
you
ad
better pick your
for
hero.
Counter-Strike
5
2,
seconds.
an ad. Magdev wants volumetric smokes in
turn to
Dota
pick.
2. My grandma found out
Take your
what
time.
League of Legends is. She's thinking of building a PC. Valve, you need to hurry. Please give us marketing. Disco Farm
10
D.
seconds to pick your hero,
Bilingual
you
people have a greater
moron.
emotional range, yet Cinderin is the robot
5 seconds,
Stoogey
Morty.
McStooge
It'll
face
be fine.
Darksea into house. The Megapope. What's up with you guys? TI New Zealand and Zan Xavier.
And Nate Pico 01 Hamscrow. Bacon, Shark TM, Freshly Seasoned Gold. Janie, Dop, Nothing to See Here, Underscore Man. Guitar Strings. Yves Remort. Ben Broomhead says hi to his friend Embray from Pixel. Wooden Aftertaste Anonymous, and the longest English word with all its letters in alphabetical order is Aegilops, which is a type of grass. Thank you, Mr. Neeping.
That's kind of interesting.
8 letters only.
Yeah.
I guess
Very
it makes
cool.
sense because the vowels are very early in the alphabet, the primary ones. So it's kind of hard to. That checks out.
Sure, that's definitely the reason. Okay,
Yes.
just a quickie. A quick NBA segment. I know there's some people that hate this and they skip, so they won't actually be hearing this. But there are some diehard NBA listeners. I
Yeah,
shouldn't
like
say
myself
they're diehard. What would they be called if they don't watch the NBA, don't give a shit about it, but they love the NBA segment somehow? What do we call them?
If they don't care about the rest of this, but only NBA.
No. They watch our podcast normally. They love the NBA segment, even though they don't watch basketball. They don't care about it.
Crazy people.
Okay, you guys can name yourself in the YouTube comments. Right now, the only one that we're going with is crazy people. So the crazy people will enjoy this. Well, first and foremost, the playoffs have started. The play-in has started, I should say, which is the best of one, so it's pretty hype. No need to really talk about that too much. The Suns will be playing the LA Clippers. It's we're the 4 seed, they're the 5 seed, so we have the home court advantage. On paper, their team is extremely good, but they've had a lot of injuries, so theoretically we should win, but it's going to be a tough matchup. The Western
And you said it's the best of
Conference
one.
No, ours are best of 7s, because the play-in is like, so if you get top 6, okay, let me explain this again, since it's been many years, right? The playoffs used to be top 8 of each conference make it. A few years ago, they changed it to have a play-in. So now it's top 6 of each conference are guaranteed to get in. Then the 7 and 8 seed play a best of one against each other. Whoever wins becomes the 7th seed. The 8 seed goes down to the quote-unquote lower bracket, and they play the winner of the 9-10 seed to see who gets the 8th seed.
Okay.
So it's made it a lot more
which
exciting.
seed are you?
We're 4, so we're fine. We're in the playoffs.
Oh, you're not playing this. Okay.
No. So it's going to be a best of 7, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's going to be like a 2-month process, so I'll update you. But I did have a funny story, Simran.
All right.
There's a team called the Minnesota Timberwolves. And they traded somebody last year. They traded it's like the biggest haul basically in history. They've traded all their picks for the next decade, essentially. This is the TLDR of it. For somebody named Rudy Gobert, who has been Defensive Player of the Year many times, but people think he sucks, and I'm one of those people. He only plays defense. He has no offensive game, and then the playoffs start, he gets played off the floor because the game changes a lot. So you have this big center that's not doing anything. They traded everything for this guy, and it was even weirder because they have another all-star center. So they have 2 centers that are playing in the same lineup. That's also weird. This guy is also not liked by a lot of people. He's French. That's not why they don't like him.
Oh boy. Yeah. What can you do then?
Because right before they stopped the season for COVID, he's the super spreader. This is the joke, at least. Because in a press conference, he's like, I don't believe, in COVID, blah, blah, blah. And he started, like, touching all the mics and just, like, basically showing he doesn't believe me. And then he got COVID, like, the next day. Literally, this is not a joke. Got COVID, like, the next day. And then the season got canceled, or postponed, right? So there's been, like, this thing where nobody likes him as a teammate. So now he's on this new team. And in their last game of the season, before the play-in, right, which is very important, he gets into a fight with his teammate. Apparently his teammate's calling him a little bitch for whatever reason, which, that's also not cool. And he punches the guy in, like, the shoulder heart area. And everybody's laughing about how stupid that is because now he's suspended for the play-in game. And then another player in Minnesota gets so angry, not even related to this, in that game, and as he's leaving into the locker room, he punches like this plastic thing, but what he doesn't know is there's a concrete wall behind. He breaks his fucking hand. So the Minnesota Timberwolves, I know this isn't like a cool story, not getting the entire thing, but this kind of stuff always happens. They have another
It's you don't have to be particularly smart to be really good at it.
Before it started.
The moral of the story here, just like us, we're actually also not good at this. We're actually just con men.
That's how I feel every day.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the thing we just mentioned, which is casting. Dream League Season 19 is, it's technically still occurring. We can talk about that. The groups are almost over, minus the tiebreakers. We're done casting the rest of the time. So, Group A, Gaming Gladiator, Shopify, and EG will move on to the next group. Group B, Team Liquid and Conjure will move on to the next group stage. there's still more teams that need to qualify because there's so many tiebreakers. Execration, Aster, and TSM, they're all tied in Group A for 1 slot. Beast Coast, OG, and Team Spirit are all tied for 2 slots. That's a little easier. And then the teams that have been eliminated are X-Hellraisers, Entity, Talon, Nigma, and Now. So let's talk about perhaps who we think are going to win the tiebreakers.
Well, first of all, before we do that, I want to congratulate you. For the beginning of the tournament, we asked ourselves in the whole tournament. And so far, your 3 picks are top 3 in the group. It's Liquid, Gaming Gladiators, and Shopify. You picked the 3 highest rated teams to get top 3 so far. So good job. I picked Liquid and Gaming Gladiators as well, and then I picked TSPSD, who didn't show up. I would say if LG were there, but
You know what's funny? I actually thought
external factors.
okay, but trying not to lie, you actually think that get top 3.
LGD?
These groups have been
Yeah.
very even.
I definitely think even after seeing it play, I think LGD would have had a good shot at third. Yes. I think they're really good. But anyway, besides the point, let's talk about the tie. So, Group A, 3-way tie for 1 slot. Execration, Aster, and TSM. We cast Aster and TSM. We haven't cast Execration. Execration and Aster have the exact same score, 1, 4, and 2, and TSM drew with literally everyone except Gaming Gladiators that they lost to on the last day. My pick here, on a narrow margin, is probably Aster, because I think their ceiling is higher. That doesn't mean they're going to play their best, though. So I don't feel confident.
Yeah, I would also TSM the whole 0-6. They didn't go and get any 2-0s, but other Execration and Aster did. So
Yeah.
I don't have as much faith in TSM.
And Aster beat Execration 2-0. That was their victory.
Oh, I feel better already.
Yeah, true.
Ready
So I think
for
Aster would be good there. And then for
Okay.
Group B, there's 2 slots.
I'm gonna say OGs don't.
Their record's 1-6-0. OG and 2-0. 2-4-1.
They might consider losses.
O2.
Yeah, Beast Coast haven't lost, right? So maybe that. But again, the ranking doesn't matter. They're playing a 3-way tie. And both 3-way ties should be best of 1, which could cycle more than 1 time if I understand correctly. And I think they're all being played today. So there's a lot of good Dota coming up today. If you guys are watching this live, or if you catch it shortly after it gets posted. The first one is Aster Execration that happens in 1 hour and 9 minutes from now. So at 12 CEST. Slice? Oh. Well,
Easiest answer. So this will go on into a second group stage with
well, it can't be alphabetical change because in Group A, Evil Genius is on 3rd, under Gaming Gladiators and Shopify. It's the same score, all 3 of them. Debunk.
Good call.
Alright, anyway.
So this will go on to a second group stage where 8 teams, so the 4 from each team, play each other again, and then the top 4.
I mean, you obviously have to pick 3 of the same again, right?
Yeah.
So you're taking Liquid, Gaming Gladiators, and Shopify. Who's your 4th? Okay. I'm gonna
Which means
take
Group A was way better than Group B.
Liquid, Damon, and now I also get to revise my LGD because we can't even make it.
This is like
No, not really. I don't want to take the same ones as you.
so
That's
this
just
is
boring.
I will say this as well, my caveat. picked Shopify before we knew they had a stand as well. Although Mikey's been playing great.
True. Mikey's really good. Alright, I'm gonna take Liquid Gaming Gladiators Team Spirit. So I'm banking on them making it out ties. And hard. Shopify or EG. Or Tundra. But Tundra don't have socks on now. EG. Alright. Okay. That was close though. We only have one difference. Alright, we're in this Shopify.
So that is Dream League Season 19. Let's go over that. Move on. Amar is being benched. Has been benched in the tournament. And Miracle replaced him temporarily. But I think they made another post saying that thank you for staying. So your thoughts mostly on Amar getting benched. Does that surprise you?
So when Nigma got Amar, I was saying that I thought he was a potential really good fit if they played him on carry. Because I think Amar's playstyle in the offlane was always pretty farm intensive and greedy. And I thought that if he transitioned to carry, it could be a good fit for Nigma. But I don't know if they haven't had enough time or if it isn't really the right fit for them or whatever. But they have not been impressive, right? They've been moving things around multiple times to try to find solutions. They played Amar offlane, they played him mid, they played him safe lane, they played Sumail mid, they played Sumail carry, they played line play, all the way. I don't feel like they played like almost every constellation. And nothing was consistent. Like, it never really clicked. So, I don't know if Kuro had the same read that I did, but obviously, I mean, there's no doubt about it that Amar is super good, right? Like, that's pretty clear, but just hasn't really been the right fit for them, and I think benching him is one solution. You could also look to move other pieces around to try to solve the puzzle, but clearly Enigma's other four players, especially the three of them, Kuro, Mind Control, and GH, have played together. They're probably trying to ride or die at this point. And unless one of them is drive the motivation to play, I think they're going to try to sneak it out. It's fine as long as the players aren't slacking and just mega on the performance, but I feel like in this team, their players definitely, I think all of them have played better in the past, so the question is how they're going to find their mojo again. But that's it. They had a couple of individually really good games. So that's the thing with Nigma that's so confusing, that they're just extremely inconsistent. Like, Nigma's ceiling is but their floor is so low. If I was betting on Dota, I would stay away from this. You just can't predict this one at all. I suppose if the odds are good enough and you know Nigma can put up these crazy performances, right, they might be worth a shot. It's just like one game, you're like, wow, they're really good, and then the next game they go 0-20.
Yeah.
It's really hard. Yeah, so it wasn't just the game we had. They had a series against the Spirit yesterday as well, where they win the
Wow, this is looking okay. This is gonna give them some momentum. They get 2 kills.
Yeah. So yeah, inconsistent is the key word here. I think Miracle, played well for coming back from a break. I think he was, considering how little he has played in Pro Dota relative to other players of the team, I think he was perhaps the standout player. So I would say he's still got it, but it seems like he wants to still extend his break, if that's for mental reasons, for health, whatever. Not going to really speculate, but he's been on a break for a while. But I do hope, and I know a lot of fans hope that Miracle will be back playing actively at some point, but based on their announcement, that point is not yet. But maybe it'll be soon, who knows. Like, Nigma's next official matches are right? Because they're not at the major, and they're not playing Div 2 this season because they got relegated to Div 1. So they're not playing Div 2 until next season. So I think they have a pretty long break now, and that will give Miracle more time to recover, but honestly, I do expect him to be back on the team the next time a big event rolls around. If he's healthy, he's going to be playing with them.
Radiant just fortified their structures. You know what I'm talking about?
The wording that I saw was when they were thanking him for standing in. I'm not indicating that.
Yeah, they were thanking him for standing in and telling. I think it was something along the lines of enjoy the rest of your break or something like
Oh
that.
man, the enemy denied their middle
Let me see.
tower.
I'll try to find it as well.
Thank you for standing in. That's all I said. So basically what I said is literally the tweet. Enjoy the rest of your break. Yeah, you're right as well.
Yeah,
The
so-
picture says that. Okay.
So I think
Here I come.
I don't know how long the break is, but I'm assuming if Miracle has any perspective of wanting to play again after a break, I think this is the team he's going to be playing with. I guess that's my 2 cents here. I think they look good together. I think Miracle brings out the best in his team. They were still inconsistent, and I find that a big part of it for me when I watched them was some of their drafts I just heavily disagree with. I think they gave themselves terrible conditions to even get their foot off the ground, and you know, the community will pin all that blame on Kuro. They also have a coach, they have other team members, it's not one person, so I'm not really going to point any fingers, I'm just going to say the end result was not good. That's it. So, whatever way they arrived there, whatever the thought process was, don't think it was great, but other games were good, and Miracle played well. We'll see. Yeah, it's in June, so that's 2 more months. That's if Miracle comes back, let's say, in a month from break, they have time to scram and get warmed up and everything, and maybe they will show a better performance in Season 2. If I believe the teams are playing both seasons, right? Nobody gets relegated from maybe it's teams get knocked down from the first Season 2, but I think I genuinely don't. We'll find out.
Next topic is
Of course.
I know that I'm biased here, but I've also run tournaments before, so I do have a very strong opinion about this. This is, for people that don't know, this is a Division 2 team, which is basically content creators. So Jenkins, Monkey, I Annihilate. Because they didn't have 3 people in NA playing Jenkins casting at Dream League, and I think I Annihilate is randomly in South America or something.
DSJ is also here.
DSJ, but he's always been.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So they've been disqualified. They understand the rules the whole time. They just had no idea that I Annihilate was not in NA at that time. Never said anything. So, under the law, this is correct. Disqualified. But it's up to the discretion, and I know this for a fact, it's up to the discretion for tournament organizers whether they enforce
Let's get
that.
a move on.
So, for something like this, like the spirit of this is like a basketball, the way that I listen to it. There's the letter of the law, or the spirit. If something obviously is not intentional, then it shouldn't be enforced. So, the case for this that doesn't make sense. The reason you enforce this rule is so that people that are from Europe, as an example, can't just play in NA qualifiers. At the very least, then these teams are a perfect example. It forces them to come and actually reside and keep in the U.S. in NA for a certain period of time in order to actually play. I think that's fine. I don't think. I know some people are against that idea, but we've had this discussion before. I think that's totally fine. Disqualify a team that lives 4 out of 5 lives in North America, most of them because they just happen to be working in Europe is fucking stupid. And the fact that they disqualified again, do, but they're doing. And it's actually worse than the scene in general because this is like Div 2. Nobody's fucking watching. They're in complete shithole of shitholes.
This is the
content
team that has the most viewership in Div 2.
Yeah, it's like a mini Arca.
So just to clarify, from what I understand, I don't think the team is fully disqualified. I think they chose themselves to say, if this is how it is, we're not going to play. I think they got a def loss on the first game, and they were told to solve the problem, or they would not play further games, right? So they didn't like disqualify the team and say, okay, you guys did this one time, now you can't do it anymore. The problem is, they're not allowed to, because you need to register stand-ins before the beginning of the season, I think, and they don't have any stand-ins, so they can't swap someone in for BSJ until he's back in, for Jenkins, right? So effectively, that would mean that they lose pretty much the whole season, I think, but from a technicality standpoint, the team did not get disqualified. They lost the series, and then they DQ'd themselves.
Sure, that is technically true.
Because they had the choice, alright, let's just say they had the choice of flying Jenkins back home and playing, right? But he chose not to, which is completely unacceptable. Working with ESL.
So the thing about this that doesn't make sense to me is like this is obviously such an easy PR move PR thing to avoid. Because this makes PGL look like I don't know the inside information, but based on the experience that we've accumulated over our careers, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, it's not like some admin went to PGL and said, what should I do here? In most cases, the admin is just making a call. It's just some random fucking guy just making a call. That's the way that
this isn't necessarily a high-up decision, right?
But it is, in the end, because of this admin.
It reflects on it.
So that's another...
But I'm with you though. From my perspective, just in every rule I think of, their rules say that the admin's discretion to make exceptions if they feel like it's like Golden Girl. So again, the spirit of the rule, I mean, you basically outlined it perfectly, right? The spirit of the rule prevents teams from playing not theirs to try to get quote-unquote easy slots to make unfair competition, whereas the teams really playing to the unfair playing field are contributing to team resistance of the region, right? Like there's an inherent difference in the two, and also the amount of effort you need to go through as a team to do it. You need to, it's an investment, think of it that way, in order to get into it or whatever. So, yeah, I feel like an easy fix to this is just to rewrite the rules, right? I think it's pretty straightforward. Either you need to have 3 players fighting the region, or you need to have 3 players that live there the majority of the year but are not there at the time of the work. And then, majority of the year, what if they're away for 200 days of the year? Like, yeah, okay, these players are American, we know they play in the region most of the time. And you could even go as far as to say if you have an American passport, right? But then it could be like, well, what if you have an American passport but you live in Europe for 2 years? Then that one even. So it's always going to be like a judgment call, but like, come on. It's...
Yeah, but the judgment call is not difficult.
Exactly, like, that's why, I don't know, I'm with you. And it's not because it's a good game. For me, it doesn't. And it sucks for them. I think they're having fun with it, they're going to enjoy it, it's content to enjoy, and at the end of the day, this is a loss for everyone.
Exactly.
Honestly.
Exactly.
So, it's like, again, kind of just...
Like, you're taking the one small gem and the literal 50th division of all of DOTA, and shittiest. Getting worse and worse and worse every year. A mid laner, Quinn, who's very good, doesn't really do much for the teams here, goes over to EU, now he's crushing it.
Won a major on his first try.
Won a major on his first try. We have less talent than we've ever had, and now I don't see. think that's
maybe
the
there's
other
an
thing.
agenda. Maybe they're trying to destroy NA by within.
Oh yeah, they were forced to take NA because they got Western users. Like, alright, that's
Maybe NA,
shitty.
maybe they're trying to make all the Americans move to Europe so they can get a bigger EU. What do you think? All right. So then BSJ wrote a long tweet longer about this. I don't know if you want to summarize this.
I already.
But yeah, essentially, his take is the same as ours, right?
Okay. Last topic before we get into the Patreon mailbag, since it's going to be a bit of a short episode. I thought it would be interesting to talk about AI a bit and how it might relate to games. I've been trying to use
I'll go where the action is.
We talked about it initially when it first came out. And I had keep reading like so many things like with people where it helps their productivity somehow, and I'm jealous. I think it's really, really cool.
You can see everything up here.
Like, it's helped me write up the email too, which is, it's helpful, but that's a little bit of a time saver. But there's nothing that's like.
What I understand about gaming and programming in general, ChatGPT can at least write meaningful code. So some mundane tasks that you might have to do, perhaps you can shortcut that by having the AI write it to you. The thing I don't know, so I'm not going to claim that it's just better than having a human do it. I don't know what format it outputs. I don't know what it is. And if you need to develop on the code further, perhaps the way it implements it isn't like good for you, right? At least you need to understand. Because at the end of the day, you have the AI write the code for you, and then you have to go back and revise the whole thing, read through it, understand it, etc. It might have been faster to write it yourself the way you wanted it to begin with, right? So, but I know it can do that. At least you can write some, at least basic fundamental functional stuff. So maybe you can save some time there. You talked about using AI voice generator for characters in video games as a possibility. To skip the step of voice actors and have use AI for it, but there's a little bit of an ethical gray zone there where, well, if the voice acting of the video game is trained through listening to actual voice actors, do they hold any rights to their voice being quote-unquote copied, at least to some extent, which is a little bit complicated to figure that out. So that one is maybe a little harder.
AI art.
AI art, similar logic, right? So from what I understand, I read this the other day on Reddit that in the US there was a law, either it was passed or it was posted, to have all AI which I just think it's a good thing. It's like it's just, I feel like it's in a good way, but it's probably better if you had to do one or the other. If it's binary, it's probably better than making AI generated stuff copy.
It's just like writing an email with ChatGPT. You can kind of relate this to all the different AI tools that you have now. You have it write the email, and then you edit it to make it the way you want it. That's the same way you do I think, and this is the reason I brought this up. So let's forget about AI literally programming for you and doing all that stuff, because I think we can agree that that's a few years away still from like legitimately like making an entire brand new AAA game. It's not gonna happen. But what if? And I know there's been jokes about Ice Frog being a robot, but what if? And do you think AI could currently update, like create updates for Dota? So it still has a human touch where they're looking at it, like, in terms of balancing the game. You would think there'd be a lot of stats that AI is actually pretty good at balancing Dota. Like, forget about the new ideas, like changing the map and all that stuff. It's still going to be the human touch, like AI could do it really well.
I think yes and no. Dota is very complex, and I know AI is like infinite time or whatever, right? But definitely, but I don't know if the outcome, like the way it was balanced. There's a lot of numbers. Every hero is different. The way you attack from an AI perspective, yes. Things that like outliers, heroes really unique or really strong or really crazy or really fun might end up being a little bit more flat, right? So like stats will be more similar and spell effects and damage, and to put it on edge, the essential way an AI might end up fully balancing every hero. That's the end.
Your take, I think you're taking too far. Again, forget about changing the way spells work.
Oh boy, your middle tower just really
Think
took
of
a
just
big
numbers
crap.
for the time being.
Right.
Keep it as basic as possible. The human is overseeing it.
So you mean like a little more mana cost on this, a little more damage on this, a little less
Like,
stats on this
if
hero.
an AI can analyze, like, if a person has to analyze all these stats and one by one, it's insane, right? They have a whole team
Yeah,
to do this.
I guess my concern in the end is similar, that potentially the way the AI rebalances the heroes makes them less fun, right?
Yeah, but again, the human is deciding whether they want to train it. So it's not
Oh, so in the end, it's like a list of suggestions. Of course, you can always use it. I guess what I'm getting at is that I think quite a lot of the suggestions it will give are not good for the game, because it will be not fun.
Yeah.
Overall, it will be a negative. So in the end, you need to look through them and be critical about everything it outputs, and then yeah, it might still give some good ideas here or there. I could see it, for sure. I could see it, and I do think Valve already, as you pointed out, they probably already look at like win rates of heroes and stats of how they interact with other heroes and combos and win rates and blah blah blah. So there's plenty of things for sure.
I mean, I wouldn't
On
be surprised
AI,
if
I
they
just had a
already
thought.
used something, honestly.
I just had a thought here. So let's say AI generated content is not copyrighted. I know this is a little bit of a backtrack to what we talked about before.
Fine.
What if you have an AI generate something for you and then you edit it? Like you said, like the AI has an idea or a concept for you, and then you iterate on it and you change it as a human being. Does it become copyrighted then? Or is it not copyrighted because the original concept was not?
That is a gray area, a very
What do you
big gray
think?
area. What do I mean? Who cares what I?
Because the tricky thing is, if it is passed in a binary way, where it's like AI generated content is not copyrighted, then you kind of can't use it, right? In product development as a game developer, every element the AI has had a touch on that you put in the game, everyone can just take out of your game at that point. And I also don't know how you would disclose it, like, oh, these elements of the game had AI help and these didn't. It feels like
That one is. I mean, I think for the next 10 years. Game design perspective. Trying to make it
Oh man.
hard to actually describe what thing. Forget about AI creating like an asset. Okay, let's say you've created the game all yourself. How can you implement AI in a game? So this is the first thought, right? Ag labs. How there's a random room and all that stuff. The AI, like, is there a benefit to using AI in some way to make that the AI choose what's best for these players based on their players? What's going to be more fun for them? You could literally balance the numbers as the game goes on based on certain statistics.
You can have the game, you can have the AI determine based on your overall performance what makes for the most challenging yet beatable one. Which I could definitely see that. My first thought in RPGs, for example, that the AI could killer based on choices you make. I think it's possible definitely having AI usually, like classic RPGs, you have a character, you talk to other characters, there's like 4 dialogue options, depending on what you choose, it might change the outcome, it might not, like most of the time right, they give you a little bit of this or that, maybe you get a quest to do that. But what if the AI on the spot just gives you a new playing experience every time you play it? Like, it doesn't necessarily require a ton of things. There's not a ton of limitations about there having to things in the game that you can play. Actually, it might be interesting. I don't know how easy that will be. AI in some way. That's like big, the first big. It's very interesting.
Hey, what do you think this is a game?
Knowing Valve, Valve loves music. They always have. So there's a good chance that they will want to try to be a front runner with AI. I'm
Bot.
sure they're looking into it. Gaben Bot.
Sentient AI. What if the first sentient AI in human history is Gaben Bot?
Open your wallet. Open your wallet, yeah. But obviously they're not alone in this, right? I think all the big tech are looking into this a lot and scared of it too, right? Like Google, I think, were very concerned actually.
Yeah, we talked about this. So they made Bard
ChatGPT,
and
right?
Bing made Bing, and they both suck ass compared to ChatGPT. They rushed it out. I think Bard was a project that Google actually gave up on. And then they got scared because of ChatGPT and restarted it, rebooted it. And it's probably considered early on still, but if that's the first impression, is a lot, right? And it's terrible. And I think the inherent issue that they're going to run into, and people aren't stupid, well, a lot of people are stupid, but most people will realize
thousands of games to learn this intuition, you can just watch this video and become a great carry player. This is mainly for newer players that aren't familiar with what a carry actually is. The carry role, also known as position 1, is played in the safe lane. The job of a carry player is pretty self-explanatory. The player farms and carries their team. Carry is essentially the golden child out of all the roles. It has the most farm priority, hence it is also known as position 1. The primary objective of the carry is to farm as much gold and experience as possible. This means that they will often spend the early game in a farming position, trying to secure their item timings. Carry heroes start out pretty weak but get immensely stronger as the game progresses. Carries can be classified into two broad categories, those with innate farming capability and those without. Innate farming capability refers to heroes who come equipped with a farming spell by default, which usually has a fast wave clearing ability. Examples of such heroes include Templar Assassin with Refraction and Psyblades, Medusa with Split Shot, Drow Ranger with Multi-Shot, and Terrorblade with Conjure Image. These heroes focus on buying stats that enhance their innate farming capability and do not require any farming items like Maelstrom or Battle Fury. On the other hand, heroes without innate farming ability require farming items to scale better and farm efficiently. Heroes such as Anti-Mage, Phantom Assassin, Juggernaut do not have a short cooldown wave clearing ability and hence rely on items like Battle Fury or Maelstrom to farm effectively. However, in the current meta, Battle Fury carries are not as viable except for heroes like Ursa and Monkey King who can fight while farming. Heroes that buy Maelstrom are still viable as they have an earlier item timing and most of them has some form of fighting capability. The reason why Battle Fury carries are not as popular is that they take longer to come online, whereas Dota is a game that favors a higher pace. Heroes with innate farming ability have an earlier item timing and contribute to fights and objectives sooner, which is crucial in the current meta. By understanding the differences between these two categories of carries, players can make a better decision on how to approach the game and maximize their farming potential. To become a successful carry player, the first and foremost thing you need is a hero pool. It's important to keep your hero pool limited, ideally with around 3 to 5 heroes at max. The reason behind this is that the more heroes you try to play, the more time you will spend learning these heroes rather than learning the game itself. It's essential to understand the mechanics and strategies of the carry role before trying to master different heroes. When I say learning the game, I mean that you should know how to play the carry role effectively, as this will be the foundation of your success. Once you have mastered the basics, learning new heroes will be much easier as your game sense will be at a higher level. You can choose whichever heroes you like, but it's advisable to have more innate farming heroes than those without that capability, as it will make it easier for you to learn the basics of the role. Learning new heroes when you have a deeper game sense will be easier. So make it simple and effective for yourself by focusing on a limited hero pool, mastering the carry role, and then gradually expanding your hero pool. When it comes to drafting your hero in a pub, picking the right hero can be a challenge due to the limited information available. As a carry, you will often have to pick your hero in the second phase, which means you only have access to the 2 heroes in your team and the 2 heroes in the opponent's team, usually supports. To make the most of this information, it's important to consider the type of support you have. If you have a melee hard support, it's generally better to pick a ranged carry, while if you have a ranged support, a melee carry may be a better choice. This creates a balance in the lane, allowing your support to tank while you make plays, or giving your support space to make plays while you take on a more aggressive role. Another important factor to consider is the enemy position 4. With information on what this hero might be, you can ensure that you don't pick a hero that is weak against them. However, it's important to remember that while drafting is important in Dota, it's not the only factor that determines a game's outcome. Don't worry too much about drafting the perfect hero. Instead, focus on playing heroes you're comfortable with and have experience playing. Even if you have a disadvantageous matchup, you can still outskill your opponent and turn the game around. Before diving into the macro parts of this guide, it's essential to approach it in a way that allows you to maximize its potential. If you genuinely want to improve, my advice is to take things gradually. Avoid getting overwhelmed by trying to focus on multiple aspects of the guide at once. With over 10 different aspects covered, trying to learn them all at the same time can make it difficult to grasp any of them properly. Instead, take things slowly and work on one aspect at a time. Once you feel comfortable and confident with that aspect of your gameplay, you can move on to the next one. This guide is sequenced in a logical learning order, and I recommend following it in the same pattern. For example, if you don't know how to farm, you won't be able to hit your item timings, which in return will make the rest of your game worse. Remember, improving in Dota is a gradual process. It takes time, practice, and patience to hone your skills and develop your game sense. By approaching this guide in a step-by-step manner, you'll be able to focus your efforts and make more meaningful progress towards becoming a better player. After the drafting phase, it's crucial to move on to the strategy phase and take a moment to think about your lane matchup as a carry. To determine your lane opponent, you should primarily focus on the enemy offlaner and position 4. If you're an experienced player, you should be able to identify which heroes belong to these positions. Once you've identified your lane matchup, the next step is to figure out which side has the advantage. To do this, you should evaluate your hero's strengths and weaknesses, as well as those of your opponent's heroes. For instance, let's say you're playing as Drow Ranger. Her vulnerability is that she has limited ways of surviving if someone jumps on her. If you're facing a hero like Doom, who cannot easily close the gap, you can use your frost arrows to harass and keep your distance, making this a favorable matchup. On the other hand, if you're against a hero like Primal Beast, who can quickly reach you, especially before you have a level in your silence ability, this is a challenging matchup, and one that you should approach with caution. Based on your assessment of the lane matchup, you should adjust your playstyle accordingly. If it's an easy matchup, you should take the front foot and play aggressively. Conversely, if it's a difficult matchup, you should adopt a more defensive approach, playing on the back foot and trying to get whatever you can out of the lane. When it comes to lane itemization, there are a few things you need to keep in mind. There are a few variations when it comes to item builds in the early game. It depends upon what kind of lane you're going to be. There are 3 types of lanes: a physical damage lane, a magical damage lane, and a mix of both. A physical damage lane will consist of constant right-click harass. A magical damage lane will consist of constant spell damage, and a mix of both will have some form of both physical and magical damage. Most carry heroes are usually agility cores nowadays. If you're in a physical damage lane, you should consider getting the Wraithband component build. The build is Quelling Blade, Slipper, Circlet, Double Branch, and a set of Tangos. And after bounty runes, you can send out the Wraithband recipe. The reason why you go for this build in a physical damage lane is because Wraithband provides you with +2 armor, which is nice against the right-click harass. If you're in a magical damage lane, you should consider going for the Magic Wand build. The build is Quelling Blade, Magic Stick, Triple Branch, and a set of Tangos. And after bounty runes, you can send out a Magic Wand recipe. This allows you to accumulate stick charges and make yourself sustainable against the constant magical harass. And you can also get raindrops. If you're in a lane with both magical and physical damage, you can go for this build: Quelling Blade, Circlet, Branch, Magic Stick, and a set of Tangos. And depending upon how the lane is going, you can either go for both Wraithband and Magic Wand, or you can just go for Magic Wand. This build allows you to sustain against both forms of damage. If you want to dive deeper into lane itemization or are confused about what to go for, you can check Dota 2 Pro Tracker and search for your hero. In order to enhance your laning phase to the next level, you need to polish your lane mechanics. These mechanics include last hitting, creep equilibrium, and creep aggroing. There's more to laning phase, but these 3 are the most crucial aspects required to have a good laning phase. Let's start off with last hitting. I would advise everyone to practice this. Even pros practice last hitting on a daily basis, because trust me, the number of times I've seen players miss free CS, including myself, is surreal. In order to get better at last hitting, there are 2 ways. One is to use the in-game last hit trainer, which can be found in the Learn tab. And the other is to go to the arcade section and search for a game called Training Polygon. Inside Training Polygon, you can find a last hit trainer. So you can just start it like this. Personally, I find this method way more effective, as you're actually practicing against a sniper bot over the other one. Assuming you are interested in improving because you're actually spending time watching this guide, I would recommend to practice this for 10 minutes every day before you start playing. It's a decent warm-up and it makes you better at the game, so why not? Creep equilibrium refers to the position and balance of the opposing waves of creeps in a given lane. When the creeps meet in the middle of the lane, they will engage in combat, and if left alone, they will slowly push towards one side of the lane or the other. The goal of managing creep equilibrium is to try to keep the waves balanced so that they neither push too far towards your own tower nor too far towards the enemy tower. Maintaining creep equilibrium can provide a number of advantages. For example, if you keep the creeps closer to your own tower, you can farm more safely and potentially deny your opponent farm and experience. If the wave is near your tower, you can just run back to your tower and is nearby for protection. But if the wave is near the enemy tower, you will have to run a long way to get under your tower protection, which will result in you either losing almost all of your HP or even dying. So it is essential to maintain creep equilibrium. Players can manipulate creep equilibrium by manipulating the number of creeps on each side, blocking the creeps to slow down or speed up their movement, and by attacking or denying their own creeps at strategic moments. Effective management of creep equilibrium can give a player significant advantage in the laning phase. In order to manage creep equilibrium, you need to make sure of the following things. Not auto-attacking the enemy creeps, not dragging creep inside your tower range, and make sure whenever you have the numbers advantage, you aggro the melee creeps onto your range creep. What this does is that it kills your range creeps, which in return doesn't push the lane into the enemy, as I will show you later in a replay example. The only time you are allowed to aggro the creeps inside your tower is when you are about to get double waved. In this example, you can see a player being double waved and pressured in the tower. Too many creeps inside your tower can give the enemy an opportunity to dive you without repercussions. So in order to avoid that, aggro the first wave inside the tower before the second wave can reach and make it a double wave. Creep aggro refers to the behavior of neutral creeps and lane creeps when they are provoked to attack a hero. Creep aggroing occurs when a player commands their hero to attack an enemy that is within 500 range of the enemy creeps. This has a cooldown of 3 seconds. When a player issues an attack command on an enemy hero, the nearby enemy creeps will switch their focus to attack the hero who attacked their ally. This is called creep aggroing. There are many advantages to creep aggroing and maintaining creep equilibrium. As you can see here, we will be looking at how Watson, a rank 1 player, uses creep aggro and wave manipulation to his advantage. Here you will see that Watson aggroes the 3 melee creeps onto the range creep. The reason behind this is that since he himself is like really low HP, like you can see he's like 200 HP, and Tide is also low HP, in order for Tide to secure this range creep, he has to move towards it, like he has to move from here to here, right? And when he does that, the Ursa can punish him, and so can the CM with the slows. And another thing is that Watson realizes that he cannot secure the range creep without getting completely bullied out of the lane by Rubik and Tide. So what he does is that he lets his CM use his Q to secure the range creep. And now what happens is that the Tide cannot come for this creep, and Watson gets a deny on this. Another thing to look at here is that Watson doesn't aggro these creeps inside the tower, like you will see here. Instead, he keeps the wave outside of the tower range. The reason behind this is that if Watson aggros the wave inside his tower and the Tide doesn't, his creep wave will push into the Tide. But now you can see here that the Tide has these 3 creeps standing here, and so does Watson. So what happens is that after this point, the wave stays at the same point. Imagine if he drags the 2 creeps inside his tower, then the new creeps will just like aggro towards here, because they have no other target to go on, and this will make the lane harder for Watson. Another thing to look at here is look at how he keeps aggroing the creeps away from the enemy. So the reason is that if you see Watson's HP, it's like really low. So if Rubik uses lift on him and both those heroes go on him, then he can die. So what he can't do is that he can't go and secure CS of this creep or any creep near them. So what he's constantly doing is that he's aggroing the creeps away from the enemy as much as he can. Like you will see here that he aggros again, so that one thing is that the enemy cannot deny it, because Tide is a melee hero, so he can't reach this creep. Similarly, Rubik is a range hero and he has a projectile, so for him to deny this creep is like really hard, because the projectile will keep chasing the creep while Watson aggroed the creep at the perfect duration where he can like secure the CS. And you will see here that he completely ignores the range creep because he knows that he's gonna get punished. So this is like the example where I said that if the reason why creep equilibrium is important, that if the creep wave is here, you're kind of fucked. Like if you see Watson, he has to go all the way back. Even though he has like 5 kills, he cannot contest this wave because he's gonna get his HP lowered completely or even die. So this is why creep equilibrium is really important. As long as the wave is near your tower, you can do the opposite to your enemy. Like you can harass them and even kill them, because they have to run all the way back here, as opposed to them being here and just like running back to their tower. This is why creep equilibrium is like really important. Another example we can look at here is like, look at the wave, right? So Watson just healed, but look at how much pressure he's getting on himself, right? So the wave, where the wave is matters a lot, right? Like he's so confused, like he doesn't know what to do right now because he's like trying to get XP or whatever he can until the pull happens. So technically he can't really contest this wave because he's constantly being bullied out. This is why, folks, mastering these 3 mechanics is like really important. If you want to become a really good player, then these 3 mechanics will make you win every single lane. The next thing we will be covering is knowing when to leave the safe lane. This aspect of the guide is essential because if not done correctly, it can delay your game by a couple of minutes, which matters a lot in the early game. Knowing when to leave your lane is complex, but much of it is determined by whether your hero has an innate farming capability or not. We've already discussed which heroes have that capability and which don't. Let's assign category A to the innate farmers and category B to the non-innate farmers. If your hero falls under category A, that means your hero is capable of farming the jungle camps really fast after a few levels and some items. Let's say that you are winning the lane. If you are playing a hero that can clear the creep wave and also farm the large and small camp every minute, then you should generally stay in the lane as long as you're able to without being contested. This basically means that you get to farm 2 waves and 2 camps every minute, reliably, which is fine in the early game. If you have the wave clear capabilities to do that, but the enemy offlaner contests you for those camps, then you can leave the lane and farm the camps in your safe lane jungle until the enemy takes your safe lane tower. That way, you get to maximize your efficiency in the jungle and lane while avoiding danger and damage from the enemy in lane. If your hero falls in category B, you won't be able to clear the creep wave and farm the camps next to your lane reliably. In this case, you should stay in the lane for as long as it's safe because you won't be able to flash farm nor sustain yourself in the jungle. Other than this, there's another thing to focus on, which is kill threat. You need to understand when the enemy offlane hero or duo has a kill threat on you. If they have certain levels or items like Meteor Hammer or some shit, then it's best to just give up the lane. The basic idea is that category A, if you're able to get the 2 side camps every minute without being contested, stay in the lane. If not, sack the lane and farm the 4 camps in your own jungle until your tower dies and then D-push waves along with the 4 camps. Category B, stay in the lane for as long as you can, even if you aren't able to get the 2 side camps. Even if you are getting bullied constantly, don't leave the lane. You need levels and items before you can sustain yourself in the jungle. If they have kill threat on you, then yes, you dying for the tower isn't worth it. In this case, sack the lane and wait for them to take your tower, so you can farm under your tier 2. The next tech we will be covering is TP usage. This aspect is somewhat similar to leaving the lane in terms of efficiency. Bad TP usage can get you locked out of the map and, in some cases, lead to your death as well. Good TP usage can net you 700 to 1000 gold in a minute, so learning how to use your TP properly is important. Here I will be showing you 2 examples, one of a good TP and one of a bad TP. So right now, you can see that this Morphling is going to TP top. So once he does TP top, I want you to notice something. I want you to look at his net worth. So at 15 minutes, he has around 6,150 net worth. And while this all happens, we'll just like fast forward really quickly, and in the next minute or so, let's see how much this guy farms. From 15 to 16 minutes, his net worth increased by at least 800. So this is an example of a good TP. His team is fighting at mid, so he used the space to take the top tower and also farm a lot of gold. And now what we're going to see is right after this point, this player TPs back to mid lane because he feels pressured. So instead of farming all of the enemy jungle and farming his way towards this lane, he comes back here again. So this is like a bad example. Now I want you to look at his net worth again when he TPs in. So at 16.5 minutes, he has like 7100 gold, right? And then now he just like TP'd here, so he's just like running around. And then nothing happens, his gold is not increasing. And what actually happens is that because of this TP, he got locked out of the map and then he eventually dies. So in hindsight, he actually lost gold because of this TP. So this is why a bad TP and a good TP can make or break your game. This is why TP usage matters a lot. A few protocols that you can follow when it comes to using TP are: don't TP to a tier 1 after you respawn where the enemy has an advantage. Rather, just walk to your nearby camp and save your TP. This gives you an opportunity later to TP to a place where you can farm freely. The only time you should TP to a tier 2 to farm if there is a big wave near it, if that is safe to farm, or if the ancient stack timer is close so you can stack it. Other than that, always walk to your tier 2. For example, if the timer is between 20 to 30 seconds, you don't have to TP, as you can just walk and still reach in time to stack the ancients, whereas if the timer is like 40 seconds or something, you can TP and stack it. The basic idea is that saving TP allows you to avail more opportunities. Once you use your TP scroll, you can't have more opportunities for the next minute or so. Moving on to farming patterns, one of the most crucial aspects of farming. Without this, you won't be able to farm shit, so please focus a lot on this part. There are two types of farming patterns. One is your own jungle, and the second is a triangle farming pattern. Knowing whether to farm in your own jungle or the triangle comes down to a few things. Ask yourself, is my hero capable of flash farming ancient creeps? If you're playing a hero that doesn't have an innate farming capability, then that hero by default cannot flash farm ancients until that hero gets an item like Battle Fury or Maelstrom. To keep it simple, if your hero cannot farm ancient creeps, then you default to farming your own jungle. If your hero can farm ancients, then it comes down to a few more things. Mainly if the enemy safe lane tier 1 is dead or not. That means you won't have access to the two nearby camps, which means that if you decide to use the farming pattern in the triangle, you will only get to farm 2 camps. Whereas if you stay in your own jungle, even if your tier 1 is dead, you can farm 4 camps and also depush the lane for your team. When you can depush the lane for your team, the rest 4 of your heroes can focus on something else on the map. If you don't depush the lane, then someone else will, which will essentially make the game 3 versus 5 for your team, since you are also farming. In this case, your own jungle is better if the enemy tier 1 is dead, and you can flash farm ancients. Then you should always use the triangle farming pattern, as it allows you to farm ancients plus an additional 3 camps, while also pushing in waves into the enemy continuously. The only exception to farm the triangle even if the enemy's safe lane tier 1 is alive is if the enemy is not allowing you to stay in your own jungle and is punishing you continuously. In that case, your only safe haven is to farm the triangle, then you should go for that. Here is an example of farming patterns by Watson. So now we need to focus on a few things. So according to my analysis, if Ursa has Battle Fury, then technically he should be farming the triangle. So why isn't he doing that? So I want you to look at the timer, which is 14 minutes and 10 seconds, which means that there's still 50 seconds before the map is going to refresh, which map refresh means that basically these 2 camps will refresh, so he needs to farm these before that time. So since he has 50 seconds, what you will see is that Watson continuously keeps farming, he farmed this camp, this camp, this camp, and now he's moving. So it's basically his end destination is that he wants to reach the ancients area, but he also doesn't want to leave this entire jungle, which is free resource for him. So he keeps on farming, he farms this big camp, he farms the entire jungle, and then he moves towards the triangle. So this way, he farmed so much of the map that it is insane. We shall calculate how much gold he farmed during this time. So by 15 minutes, he's already here, and he managed to farm the ancients very easily. So we should just go back a bit. Let's start at 14 minutes, where he started farming. So at 14 minutes, he's 7950, and by the time he clears the ancients, what is his net worth? By the time he clears ancients, he's technically farmed close to 1000 gold. So this is why farming patterns matter a lot. So now since he's here, because he has Battle Fury, you can see that he can flash farm ancients really fast. And now he's gonna adapt to this farming pattern, where he's gonna push in the lane and then farm this and then go towards here, which I will go more over later on. Here is another example of farming pattern by Watson. So now Watson is TPing to a tier 2 at the start of a minute to farm. So according to my analysis on TP usage, this should be bad, right? Because he has a lot of time, he can just blink here and farm it. So let's see what he does here, right? So what you see here is that Watson is just farming his own jungle because he can't farm the triangle, because obviously he's an anti-mage who can't really clear camps like you see here. It's so hard for AM to farm, right? And we're going to be talking about the TP usage later on as well. So there's a fight going on here, they get a kill, and boom. Now I want you to notice another thing, right? So since he TP'd here, he doesn't have a TP. And if you see bot lane, there's 5 creeps, and then there's like another wave that is about to reach here, which means that this is close to 500 gold that he's going to miss out on because he used his TP like that. So instead, if he blinked all the way to here, then he would have the opportunity to TP back here. Since Watson doesn't have a TP, you will see that his Snapfire, who's like position 5, I think, is going to TP the bot lane to secure that farm, which is insane, right? So this is why the TP example is important. But overall, we're discussing farming patterns here. So I just want to like keep one thing in touch, is that until AM gets a Battle Fury, he's just going to keep farming his own jungle and deep pushing this lane. Like if you see here, this is his farming pattern. He's farming his own jungle. If there's an opportunity, he goes on someone, then boom, then he goes here, and then just like deep pushes the wave for his team. Notice how, since he's deep pushing this, the Snapfire didn't have to TP in to deep push this, as opposed to here, right? Snapfire TP'd here, so they lost a few viewers at top because it's essentially AM can't 5, Snap is not there. It's essentially 3 versus 5. So this is like a good example to think about, right? As a farmer, if you're like, the only positive and productive thing you can do on the map is relieve pressure for your team, especially when you're playing a farmer who needs Battle Fury before he can do anything. So in this example, you can see that Watson is just like constantly deep pushing this wave out so his team can play elsewhere on the map. Now that we've discussed almost everything regarding the farming patterns, you should have a decent idea of when you want to farm the triangle and when you want to farm your own jungle. So now I'm just going to explain to you how the triangle farming pattern basically works. So the triangle farming pattern is that you should be at the triangle area at the start of the minute or at the end of the minute. So you will see here that I farmed the 2 nearby camps in this lane, and now I'm just pushing in the wave, right? So now I'm going to go back here, and then at the end of the minute, you can see that I stacked this camp, and now I'm farming here. So either I'm here at the end of the minute or at the start of the minute, because I'm constantly going to push this lane in, and then I'm gonna move towards here. Right now I have Shadow Blade, and I just saw like Stone farming here, so that's why I'm going to like try to kill him with the Shadow Blade usage. But since I see this, I just have to go back. But if that wasn't happening, what I would do is that I would clear these camps at the start of the minute, move towards here, farm this camp, push in a wave, farm this camp, the map refreshes, right? And then I farm these 2 camps again, push in another wave, move towards here, farm this, farm Ancients, and then the map refreshes again. Essentially, that's all you have to do if you want to farm close to 700 or 800 gold a minute. That's all you need to do. You just like follow a farming pattern. And another thing that I want to point out is that when it comes to farming patterns, it's all about efficiency. Like, for example, in this farming pattern example of Watson, we discussed that his end goal is to reach the Ancients area. So what you're going to see is that he's going to move in a proper pattern when it comes to farming. Like, he's gonna go from this camp to this camp, this camp to this camp, this camp to this camp, and this camp to this camp, right? He's gonna move in a proper pattern, so it's like very efficient. He's farming while he's moving. Imagine if someone farms this camp, then he farms this camp, then he farms this camp, then he farms this camp, right? He's essentially wasting 5 seconds while moving from camp to camp, while Watson is not doing that. Like you can see here, he's moving from camp to camp, which makes it very efficient, which means that the time that he would have wasted moving is not being considered because he's not wasting any time. So this is very important when it comes to farming pattern. This efficiency matters a lot. The next thing I will be assigning you are last hit goals. As a carry, it is crucial to develop a mindset that keeps you dedicated to farming in the early game. In order to do that, you need to have a last hit goal set in your mind. If you see pro players, they usually have 200 CS by the 20-minute mark. And throughout the game, you can see that they have either 10 CS per minute or more than that. This allows them to have a lot of net worth, which in return makes them have a lot of items. Dota is a simple game. If you have more items than your enemy, you will just stop them. I've seen a lot of players, especially in the lower ranks, that don't even have close to 120 CS by 20 minutes, which is really bad. If you want to climb the ranks as a carry, you need to focus on these CS goals. I'll show you an example of how much this actually matters. So this is a game of mine where this is the yellow is my performance and the blue is the performance of a divine to immortal player, right? So let's just go back to Herald, right? So let's see how much Herald players perform in terms of farming. So at 10 minutes, Heralds usually have 38 CS, and by 20 minutes, they usually have only 100. Similar to that, Guardians usually have 120 by 20 minutes, and Crusaders have 130, Archons have 140, Legends have 150, Ancients have 151, and Divine to Immortals have around 162. So look at my CS, I have 244, so I'm performing way above average. Like if you see the net worth in this game at like 20 minutes, usually it's like 10k net worth for Divine to Immortal players, but I have 15k, which means that if my net worth is 15k at 20 minutes, this means that I would have a BKB and everything, and then the game's just easy, right? I win this game in like 20 minutes because I have so much farm. So this thing actually matters a lot. Now that we've seen how this matters, the CS goals that you should follow are 60 CS by 10 minutes, 120 CS by 15 minutes, 200 CS by 20 minutes. This is the baseline. It doesn't matter what kind of hero you are playing. However, if you are playing a hero that has an innate farming ability, then you should aim for higher CS goals. In order to achieve these goals, you need to apply the things that we've discussed before this section. In the lower brackets, you'll win most of your games just by outfarming the enemy. If the players in your games have 100 CS by 20 minutes and you have 200, you are overperforming them and you will win just based off of that. The next thing we will be going over is kill threat. This section of the guide requires you to have some experience with your heroes because it is highly situational based on what kind of hero you are playing. To keep it simple, I'll use an example of Anti-Mage. This hero likes to play alone and is very mobile. The weakness of this hero is that he's really squishy and requires some items before he can actually do something. Ask yourself, what does Anti-Mage like to do? The answer you would come to is that Anti-Mage likes to farm a lot without being interrupted. The ideal game for Anti-Mage would be that the enemy team has no catch for him, so he can blink around however he wants without fear and kill everyone. So the opposite of this would be that if the enemy has catch, then he has to be cautious. For example, if the enemy has a hero like Axe, Legion Commander or Puck, then these heroes are considered as a kill threat for Anti-Mage. You can apply the same thought process to the heroes that you play and figure out what is the kill threat for you in the game. And after that, what you have to do is play opposite to them as much as you can and be aware of the fact that they can kill you. How does one decide whether to farm or to fight? In order to understand whether you need to fight at a particular point or to farm, take a particular hero, in this case Phantom Assassin as an example, and ask yourself these. Question number 1. What is my hero good at? In this case, PA is a stealthy hero that likes to burst down heroes really fast because of her high damage, and she is also good against physical heroes because of her evasion. Question number 2. What is my hero bad at? When you think about it, if PA is good against physical damage heroes, what is she bad against? Magical damage heroes. So Magic Burst counters PA on her inability to burst down heroes. Now comes question number 3. How do I fix the weakness of my hero? We already know the weaknesses of PA, which is getting burst down by magical damage. What is an item that fixes that? When you think about it, BKB is an item that fixes that. Another way to fix that is to be stealthy and kill the magical burst hero before they can use their spells on you. But that is a rather 50-50 scenario. The easier path is to just have a BKB. Now that we have asked ourselves these questions, the answer to whether to fight or farm is simple. If the enemy has the heroes that counter the way our hero likes to play, in this case if the enemy has burst damage against PA, she can't participate in fights until she gets her BKB. In this case, PA is required to farm her BKB timing, then participate in fights. If she tries to fight before that, she will just ruin the game for herself and her teammates. If you have the items required to fight, then keep one more thing in mind, which is that before you smoke or move for a fight, make sure you have farmed most of the resources on the map. I've seen a lot of players that just move around trying to look for fights when there's so many camps available on the map to farm. Moving on to itemizing as a carry. Once you've mastered the art of farming, you need to utilize that to win games. Most of it comes down to how you itemize. In order to itemize properly, the first thing that you need to do is to have a basic idea of the default build for your hero. Default build is the usual itemization on a hero. For example, for PA, people always buy Battle Fury, Desolator, BKB and Basher. For AM, people always buy Battle Fury, Manta, Basher, Scotty. These are the default builds. To have a better idea about this, go to DOTA Pro Tracker and search for your hero, and you can figure out what the default build is for your hero. Once that is figured out, you need to ask yourself these 3 questions. I won't go deep into it as I've already made an in-depth video about itemizing as a carry, which will appear on the top right if you are interested. The 3 questions that you need to ask yourself are: question number 1, what does my hero excel at? You need to think for a second about the hero you are playing. What is the part about your hero that makes it a strong hero? Your goal in terms of itemization is to make sure your itemization allows your hero to do the stuff your hero is good at. Then comes question number 2. What stops my hero from doing what it likes to do? Now you have to think about some general things that stop your hero from excelling. Question number 3. How do I overcome all of these issues? In order to overcome the issues that disrupt the ideal game for our hero, we need to itemize in a way that progresses our game towards ideality. This thought process will help you in itemizing on any hero in any particular role as well. The next thing we will be discussing is how to transition from being a farmer to a game winner. There are certain key aspects that you need to follow that will transition you to a game winner as a carry. The first aspect is the itemization on the carry, which we've already discussed. Once you have the farm and the items, the next thing you need to learn is how to move on the map. When your hero is ready to fight, the way you want to move on the map should be correlated to the key objectives in the game, mainly Roshan and enemy safe lane tier 2. These are the two most important objectives once you are strong enough. Roshan allows you to close out games without throwing, and the tier 2 gives you control of the entire safe lane jungle of the enemy because of the outpost. Now that we know what objectives are important, this is where we should be aiming to play on the map. We should farm near it, we should smoke towards it, because if we have set up vision in this area and win a fight in this area, that leads us to take Roshan for free. A lot of players move around the map mindlessly without farming. They might know what objectives they want, but they will just look around for kills and a miracle that allows them to secure those objectives, which is the wrong way to approach things. What you need to do is you need to keep farming near those areas while trying to look for a fight, so in case a fight never happens, you don't stagnate on your farm. This is how you move efficiently on the map. In case some scenario leads you to take Roshan without taking enemy tier 2 towers, with the Aegis, your goal in terms of your map movement should be to close out the map for the enemy. How to do that? Focus on taking objectives with your Aegis. Take out all the outer towers one by one without trying to go high ground or making a risky play. The amount of time people throw with Aegis is insane. Move together with your team and take out all the outer towers. Once the towers are down, the enemy will lose access to their farming areas, and then your lead will increase, which will lead to more items for your team, and then you can eventually end the game. Another thing that makes a carry player great is knowing how to teamfight properly. When it comes to teamfights, target priority is the most crucial thing. How do you decide which target you want to go on? In order to know that, you need to once again ask yourselves the questions that you ask yourself in the when to fight and when to farm part, because it is correlated. Let's take PA as an example again. Question number 1. What is my hero good at? In this case, PA is a stealthy hero that likes to burst down heroes really fast because of her high damage, and she is good against physical heroes because of her vision. Question number 2. What is my hero bad at? When you think about it, if PA is good against physical damage heroes, what is she bad against? Magical damage heroes. So magic burst counters PA and her inability to burst down heroes. How do I fix the weaknesses of my hero is your third question. BKB fixes these issues for PA, right? But there is more to it when it comes to team fights. BKB has a duration of 9 seconds if it's used for the first time. So what should be your goal with the BKB usage? Ideally, your goal should be that, yeah, I want to kill all 5 heroes with the duration of my BKB, because if I don't, after my BKB, I am prone to dying from the magical burst. But it isn't possible to kill all 5 heroes within 9 seconds, so how do you prioritize who to kill? I want you to ask yourself what is the absolute ideal fight for your hero. For PA, it should be that she gets to burst 1 or 2 heroes without using BKB, so that I can have my BKB for the rest of the heroes. Ideally, as a PA, I would want to kill down the supports that usually are the reason behind the magical burst, and as a PA with Blur, I can burst them down very easily. Here is an example of a bad team fight. So as you can see here, dire heroes are ready for a fight and they have vision. So the info that they have is that they can see Axe, who's already went in. They have Spectre here and they have like Jakiro here. So like we discussed, PA's vulnerability is that if she gets to use her BKB on the wrong target, she will just die afterwards, right? So a hero like Axe, who is really hard to burst, going on Axe is probably the worst decision you can make in this fight. The way we want to play is that, since we have the vision required, we have a good team fight, we have that thing, right? We have vision on the hero, so we can just like stall it out, go for the supports and kill them. But what happens in this fight? Let us see. So PA doesn't go on Axe, but she goes on the Spectre Illusion. After which she gets called, her BKB is used, and then she's fighting, even though she's not dying, but as soon as her BKB ends, they just go on him, and the supports and the damage, and the PA dies. So what should have PA done instead? PA should have waited a bit till AA and Jakiro showed, because Jakiro was already showing. AA used his blast, so eventually he was going to enter the fight. PA should play from somewhere here, kill this hero, because he doesn't have any way of survival. No Force Staff, no Ghost Scepter, no Glimmer Cape. It's like a free kill. She kills AA really easily because she has a lot of burst damage. This hero has no armor, no HP. It dies in like 3 seconds. And then after that, you move on and kill the Jakiro. Now 2 heroes are dead. Essentially the 5 is 3v5 with you having BKB. You won't need BKB to kill these 2 heroes. And once that is done, this fight is done and dusted. The PA can use BKB and jump on the Spectre with a shard, and the fight is like over. So this is like a bad example of a team fight. So following the thought process that we've discussed before this, you can decide what is the ideal team fight for your hero. It depends, and it's like very situational from hero to hero, so I cannot go over every example for every hero, as that would make the video really long. But I hope the thought process is like helpful. Moving on to closing out games in high ground discipline. A lot of us have thrown a million games because we are just too impatient and just want the game to end. But what happens is that instead we just end up throwing the game. As you can see in this example, how badly I am throwing this game. I'm 5-0, insane amount of farms against an anti-mage, and I just threw the fucking game like doing this. So folks, if you're playing carry or whatever, don't play like this. Be disciplined, be patient, and respect the enemy. Now let's see an example of an actual pro player. Watson, a rank 1 player. Let's see how these players go high ground. So they catch the Phoenix and they kill him. Now it's like 2 heroes are dead. Maybe these guys will go high ground. But what you see, look at his positioning. He's not even going high ground. As soon as the enemy team buybacks on Phoenix, they just go back. Instead of like standing there, even though they have Aegis, BKB, everything on Marcy with Unleash, they might have a chance to win a fight. But they're not leaving it on a chance, because if they throw once, the game is over. What they're doing is that they're trying to make the most risk-free play as possible. So what they're going to do is now they're going to run back to their vision, and they're going to stay here. They're going to make the enemy get out of position. So as soon as this Phoenix comes out of position, they kill him. Even now, it's like 3v3, and they could go high ground, but they still won't do that, because it's like going high ground is not that ideal of a play. Because if you think about it, they're gonna go high ground, they're gonna hit it a couple times, enemy team is going to use fortification, they're gonna waste some time, and then they'll have to go back or maybe even throw, right? Because they have no idea what kind of buybacks they have and what kind of buybacks they don't have. So they're just like running around left and right, farming camps and stuff, trying to look for more pickoffs. So here, as you can see, the enemy is going on him, and Watson's constantly protecting his teammates, and the fight goes on longer. If the same thing happens on the tier 3, these guys can't get out. But since it's happening here, they have a decent chance of winning this fight. So as you can see here, he's fighting, they go on, they end up killing the PA, and yeah, now they just like win the fight. Cop might live, but yeah, it's like whatever. They killed the cop as well. Very cool. And now it's like, okay, both cores are dead, now we should go high ground. Now they are going to go high ground. So they're hitting high ground because 2 of their cores are dead. They don't have much damage. He dives in to kill the Phoenix. As soon as he sees the buyback on PA, he uses his BKB and he runs away. Because that is discipline. That is respecting the enemy, which all of us lack. At least like most players, they just like throw the game on the high ground like it's nothing, you know. They have 25k lead, but still they are playing very disciplined. They have a lot of respect for the opponent because they understand that if we feed, we're gonna lose. And now they're still chilling again, and now they're gonna look for more pickoffs again. They're forcing the enemy to come outside because it's like the enemy can't come outside. They're like kind of locked in their base, so they can't really farm either. So the lead is eventually going to keep increasing, which means that they're just going to wait for the enemy to get impatient and then end the game based off of that. So you see a fight starts here. He's not going in committing fully because he doesn't have BKB. He's just like chilling, and suddenly he's moving in again, giving his teammate sidekick BKB, jumps on the PA here, kills the PA. PA doesn't have buyback, and then they kill Phoenix. Now suddenly none of their heroes have buyback. 3 heroes with no buyback, and this is their key to basically just go high ground. So the patience that they had and the respect for the enemy and the discipline, that led to them not throwing the game and eventually just winning the game off of that. After this point, the game is over because Marcia's BKB, refresher, double ults is like very hard. Even though you can see that P is dead, they're still posing a lot of threat to the enemy team. And then the game just ends after this point. This is an example of a good high ground siege. So a few tips that I can give you regarding this is that if you have all the control of the map and the 5 enemy heroes are alive, or if you think that going high ground has a little bit of risk, even if it's like 10% risk of going high ground, don't go high ground. Just keep farming the rest of the map, play on the side of the enemy, basically on their jungle, on their areas where they can't come. And once they come out of their base to farm, because they are going to get impatient, they will eventually feed you and give you an opportunity to go high ground and end the game, similar to this game. So this is how you want to close out games. The last thing I will be covering in this guide is mentality. When it comes to Dota, mental game carries you further than skill does. I want you to know that as a carry player, you have the capability to solo carry your games, so dwelling on your teammates is pointless. If you're in a difficult lane, mentally prepare yourself to not focus on winning the lane, but instead focus on not losing the lane. This means that you go into the lane with the mindset that you want to get whatever you can get from this lane without feeding. If you're in a difficult game, understand that if you have developed good farming fundamentals, you can still win your games. Don't get pressured into doing stuff that you don't believe is correct. Follow the teachings in the guide religiously and you'll come out ahead in seemingly unwinnable games. Remember, flaming your teammates isn't going to make them play better. Instead, it will make the game worse. Take a break if you lose multiple games in a row. Most of the time, your brain is so tilted it stops you from performing how you normally would. Lastly, remember to follow this guide gradually. Take things slow, work on one aspect at a time so you don't overwhelm yourself. I hope this guide was helpful. If you are interested in private coaching, you can join my Discord, linked in the description. Other than that, I have also linked my Patreon where you can find excellent investment opportunities in terms of coaching packages. If you like the content, do subscribe, as this will encourage me to make more videos like this. Do let me know in the comments if you have any feedback.
Your turn to pick!
You really gotta pick a hero. You got 10 seconds left. Yeah, 5 seconds left now.
Morphling.
Crunchy's recruiting some real trouble!
I know, Morty. Just follow my lead.
A fine solution. It is in the bag. Running water.
Morty, don't look now, but battle's about to start.
Oh my god! No! I ain't ready for this! I didn't do this!
I know. Time to test the waters. Pour it on. It's not time yet. Go with the flow. The wave breaks. Ah, yes. Running in. The moon pulls me. Don't get wet. Yes. I go home. Streaming. Standing water. Tsunami. I'm under attack. Attack. As ever. Yes. The last drop. Yes. Ah, yes. I'll sweep. The moon. I think not. Go with the flow. The wave breaks. Streaming. Standing. I go home. A fine solution. Running water. Pour it on. I know. As ever. Yes. Running in. Almost
Ooh, first blood.
Strigor's tracks run. Standing water. A fine solution. still run. I go. Raging waters. Streaming. Denied. Pour it on. The wave breaks. Running in. The wave breaks. That settles. Waters rising. Go with the flow. Streaming. Dangerous waters. I'm under attack. As ever. I know. Thanks. Standing water.
Radiant just fortified their structures. You know what I'm talking about?
On your knees. The tide has turned. Running water. Pour it on.
Oh, come on. The middle tower's under attack.
Yes. Yes.
You're a goddamn hero!
I go. Boiling rage. Yes. Return to the grasslands of my home. Running in. Standing water.
You gotta get serious. Top tower's under attack.
Streaming. The moon pulls me up and down the drain. I like what I see.
Killing spree. Whoa! Your middle tower's under attack.
Your bottom tower's under attack. No, Rick, I gotta tell you, my bottom tower is pretty good.
Bottom tower under attack. Ooh. Oh, not good. Oh boy, killing spree. Wubba lubba dub dub. Riggedy riggedy your top tower's under attack.
Oh, geez, your middle tower's under attack. Man, you might as well save that energy because Radiant just fortified their structures.
Your top tower's under attack. You're a goddamn hero!
Boiling rage. Pour it on. Yes. I go.
Oh, the enemy's middle tower's gone. Serves them right.
Water.
Your bottom tower's under attack.
You're a goddamn hero!
I know.
Your middle tower's under attack.
Double kill.
You don't enjoy my dry wit.
Don't go off half-cocked.
Oh, your bottom tower's under attack. Come on, get with it.
Bottom tower is gonzo, baby.
Oh, you gotta do something about this.
Yes. As ever.
You die alone. You are too noisy to live.
Yes.
Great! Your middle tower, you can't use that anymore. It's gone.
The last drop.
That force field leads me to believe that Dyer just fortified their structure.
Streaming.
Whoa! The enemy's top tower got destroyed.
Double kill. What a wonderful thing. Morty, killing spree.
Jeez, he's dominating.
Double kill.
Standing water.
Oh man, what? Get up on out of here, cause Radiant just fortified their structure.
Hooray! The enemy's bottom tower is destroyed. Hooray! Ownage.
That was good of you. Go with the flow. Wave of mutilation. Tsunami. Not yet. After them. The moon pulls me. Streaming. Yes. Dangerous water. Yes. I go. I'm grateful to you.
Oh, your top tower's under attack.
Pour it on.
You're a goddamn hero!
Breaks. Running water.
Whoa! Initiating killing spree mode.
I subdue. Yeah, I crest. Visibility. The wave breaks. Running in. I go.
You're a goddamn hero!
As ever.
4 in a row.
was good of you.
He's now dominating. He's dominating, Rick.
Think on it. A fine solution. Pour it on.
Ooh, they took out the enemy's middle tower.
Standing water. Attack. After them. Yes.
Roshan, guy. Your bottom tower's under attack.
Wubba lubba dub dub! Oh, yeah, your bottom tower's under attack.
Go the blow. Pour it on.
Radiant just fortified their structures. You know what I'm talking about?
The wave breaks. A fine solution.
Oh, middle tower's under attack.
Go. Go with the flow. As ever. Smash
Detection issue.
Oh man, this guy's dominating.
Wubba lubba dub dub! Oh, killing spree. Oh, everyone bow down. Oh, accident. It was an accident, I bet.
You know, Rick, I gotta tell you, my bottom tower is looking pretty good.
40 bottom tower under attack. Oh, yeah, your bottom tower's under attack. Hey, Morty, guess what's not there?
The bottom tower. Oh boy, your top tower is under attack.
Oh, tower. Loved it. I loved it.
Yes.
Mega kill. He just mega killed.
Standing water. Streaming.
He's dominating now. He's dominating.
The moon pulls me.
because Radiant just fortified
Looks
their
like dire
structures.
structures are fortified.
Oh, jeez, your middle tower's under attack. Oh, man, your middle tower just got destroyed. Jeez, this is some wicked sick stuff, Rick, because he just wicked sick did.
That's right.
Oh, jeez, middle tower's under attack.
Your middle tower's under attack. Oh boy, your middle tower just really took a big crap.
One way follows another. Running in. A fine solution. Running water. Accepted. Yes. The wave breaks. I'll swing you away. You're mine. Yes. Raging waters. Yes. As ever.
Dub-a-dub-a-dub-dub.
From me.
Watch out. Heads up.
Beware the standing wave. Running in. Water. Go with the flow. Ah, yes. A fine solution. Pour it on.
Oh, Rotan's fallen to the dire.
Standing water. The wave breaks. I go. I flow. The moon pulls me. Angels
Geez, your top tower's under attack.
That force field leads me to believe that Dyer just fortified their structure. Oh, your top tower just took it right in the you-know-what.
Man, you might as well save that energy. This radiant just fortified their structure.
Like top towers under
Oh, sheesh! You're a goddamn hero!
Watch out! It's a killing spree!
Dominating!
Whoa! Ultra kill! I'm so impressed! Ooh, your middle barracks just got wiped off the face of the map. Oh boy, Mori, middle barracks are gone. Ooh, your middle tower is under attack.
Great! Your middle tower, you can't use that anymore. It's gone.
Oh boy. Oh,
Oh man, your middle tower just got destroyed.